have tried several times to talk about the Princess Diarist, and every time I failed, so I'm hoping this one will be a success. I have an odd relationship with Carrie Fisher in the sense that I haven't been a fan of hers for very long, but put it this way, I started watching Star Wars in, I think, about July or August of 2019, and by January 2020, I'd flown from London to California to visit her grave. There's just something about Carrie. I fell in love with her the second I first watched her on screen, and I became hooked. And I find her so compelling, so fascinating, so relatable. There are a lot of things that she's been through or felt or expressed that makes me feel less alone in the world, and I just know that she would understand a lot of the things that I think and feel, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why I find it very hard to talk about the Princess Diarist, because there's especially one passage that just touches me completely, and I've actually done a separate video on that. I've done the passage, and I will link that in the description. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever read. But the reason I'm pushing through this and talking about this is because I completely urge everybody to read it, because of how raw, honest, and eye-opening this is. I feel like if you've been a fan of Carrie Fisher for a long time, you'll probably be familiar with a lot of things that are being said in this. But if you are fairly new to her, or you don't know anything about her, or you just want to explore either mental health or perhaps certain aspects of Hollywood, this is definitely going to do the trick. Obviously, there's a very emotional aspect to The Princess Diarist, because this was released in 2016, the year she died. It was released, I believe, a couple of months before she died. I think the audiobook was never finished with her voice. I could be wrong on that, don't quote me. And obviously, when people were, for example, this would have been a big hit for a lot of people as Christmas gifts. And, everybody would be opening these on Christmas Day, and she's no longer with us after that, which is very hard to deal with. So, I'm not saying that was a marketing ploy, but in terms of book sales, they probably couldn't have released it at a better time. But I'm sure everybody, myself included, would rather have no book and a living Carrie. But that's by the by, because we can't do anything about that, but we can celebrate her life. And one of the things that I love about her, and that is worth celebrating, is how brutally honest she is, or could be. And that's definitely the case with Princess Diarist. It has extracts from her diaries that she wrote during Star Wars. She plucks bits out, she comments on them, she talks around them, she goes off on the odd tangent. She talks about why she started to do Comic Cons, or at least the Star Wars ones, and her financial issues, because she was broke for a long time. Talks a little bit about her mother. It obviously talks about Harrison Ford. And in this book, I learned that she used to go to a pub with Harrison Ford that is about a 2-minute walk from where I currently live. And this pub is at the top of the road from me, and it's amazing. And I also learned that she stayed in a house about a 10-minute walk from me during the filming of the first Star Wars. I have been to the exterior of that house. Obviously, I haven't been anywhere too near it, because it's somebody's home and I'm not going to intrude. But she does talk fondly, with a pretty good memory surrounding those days, and I expect that that's largely due to the fact that she kept these diaries. Very blessed that she did keep them, because it's really eye-opening. She does obviously talk quite a bit about Princess Leia, and I had no idea until I read this that she was not a fan of that hairstyle, because to me it's iconic and I love it. But I suppose when you're a 19-year-old trying to make your way in life, and you have to appear before what ended up being millions of people with an outrageous hairstyle, you're going to be a bit uncomfortable. But obviously, she talks obviously appreciatively about Leia, and how sometimes she and Leia are one, which is very true. If you hear Carrie Fisher, you think Princess Leia. She's done loads of other great roles. Well, maybe loads is a stretch, but she's done a lot of really fantastic roles that I thoroughly enjoyed. But she is Princess Leia. She talks passionately, but she talks honestly. And as I said, one of the diary entries from off the top of my head, I actually can't remember when the diary entry is from. Obviously, it's from when she, not recent, not 2016, put it that way. But she talks about how she will never be happy with herself. And to be honest, I'm not going to try and paraphrase it because you need to read her words to get how absolutely beautiful they are. But I will link to the video where I kind of put the words into a video, and I absolutely love her. The book's beautifully written. It's written in Carrie's voice. I don't know how much of this was edited. I don't know how much of it was direct from her, or if the publishers, kind of hacked it up a bit, but I don't think they would have done. It is very blunt and in your face, and you get what Carrie gives you. There's no sugarcoating anything, and it is a bit triggering as somebody with depression and other related issues. It can be quite triggering and emotional, and it's just absolutely breathtaking. I thoroughly recommend it. It is pretty chronological, but she does dance around a little bit, keeping you on your toes. Do you have to be a fan of Star Wars to read this? I don't think you have to be a fan of Star Wars to admire the beauty in the honesty of her words. But I would certainly say that there will be things mentioned that it would go straight over your head if you have never seen a Star Wars film, which would have been me this time year and a half ago. Carrie Fisher is a rare human being. There are few people on this earth who I've ever felt any kind of emotional connection with. And my only regret is falling in love with her once she was no longer with us. The Princess Diarist is a beautiful book. It's witty. It's got a few funny parts. It's very raw, direct, honest, and everything that Carrie Fisher was.